Today, we are going to explore exactly what the deal is between the bots and the cyborgs. Are they the same, different, or perhaps evolved? Tortured bot prisoners gave up intel that a large-scale automaton invasion was on the cards. The bots called their plan the Reclamation. Definition: taking back what was once theirs. Divers eradicated the Automatons before any mass bot attack could get a look in, but it was always unlikely this meant the Reclamation was dead in the water.
Yeah, what the hell?
And sure enough, 2 days later, the bots came back.
What?
The Automatons are back.
No way.
A massive fleet has now begun an assault on Cyberstan and the surrounding planets. Helldivers hold back this unprovoked invasion. The fight continues.
So why go for Cyberstan, and is this the Reclamation the bots have been promising? The answer lies in the lore of the Cyborgs, the long-lost residents of Cyberstan from Helldivers 1. The Cyborgs of Helldivers 1 were, once upon a time, 100% human. There's not much lore around about these fully human Borgs, but according to a veteran of Helldivers 1, they were actual citizens of Super Earth originally and lived there in peace and harmony. That is, until being democratically managed by the Federation wore a little thin. The ideals of Super Earth are a lie, they said, and the people have been brainwashed. At some point after their disillusionment kicked in, these rebels began to cybernetically alter their bodies. According to Super Earth, the cyborgs became obsessed with the manipulation of their bodies and constantly sought to pervert their skin with machines that gave them a higher meaning in life.
Holy Christ, there's nothing left.
They pieced together soldiers from their own body parts and also from the corpses of fallen Helldivers. There's bloody evidence the cyborgs' descendants, the Automatons, are using a similar method to boost their numbers, but more on that later. The cyborgs created soldiers like the Immolator, who were 1/3 steel and 2/3 the perverted remains of peaceful soldiers. They also made berserkers and butchers who proudly displayed their human parts, but the siege mech cyborg boss was pretty much all bot. No OG diver has fond memories of running into a pack of cyborg hounds. You'd hear them snarl and bark before they went at you, so you got some kind of a warning, but they'd swarm. As well as gradually repurposing more and more of their own flesh, the cyborgs opted to leave the planet they despised, Super Earth, and establish a socialist society on Cyberstan, a resource-rich, snow-covered wasteland. The cyborgs got caught up in the First Galactic War of 2084 after orchestrating a series of bombings on Super Earth which killed thousands, or so Super Earth said. There was actually only one bombing in District 48 and only 8 citizens died. And there's speculation the cyborgs weren't even behind those attacks and that the bombings were staged by Super Earth. But the truth didn't matter. Super Earth had the moral high ground they needed and attacked anyway. Their ulterior motive? Some say it was the riches of Cyberstan. Super Earth won control of Cyberstan in that first war, so what became of the cyborgs? At the end of Helldivers 1, the official word from Super Earth was that they had decided to forcefully democratize the cyborgs. Their factories were bought out by the Super Earth construction company, and it was estimated that within 5 years, Cyberstan would be fully indoctrinated into the ways of Super Earth. But democracy officers in Helldivers 2 put more of a sinister spin on the fate of the bots. Cyborgs were secured in the minds of Cyberstan after their defeat. And OG divers only add to this grim picture by routinely posting about cyborgs having been enslaved in those minds, presumably digging out riches for their Super Earth overlords. And it looks like 5 years of indoctrination turned into 100 years of re-education.
Everyone knows Cyberstan has been a rehabilitation facility for the cyborgs since the First Galactic War. What a lot of people don't realize is just how many patriotic citizens it takes to keep an operation like that afloat.
Fast forward to the Second Galactic War. After being eradicated in Operation Swift Disassembly, the Automatons overran nearly every planet in the Valdis sector, including Cyberstan, opening up a major new front exactly as those tortured prisoners said they would.
Quickly overwhelming the relatively undefended planets on the galactic fringe.
So, is this the Reclamation? Yes, they have taken the Cyborgs' home planet, but if they were reclaiming what was once theirs, the Automatons would need to have more than just bot body parts in common with the Cyborgs.
Got a sample!
And they do. In the beginning, Helldiver devs Arrowhead wanted us to believe there was no connection at all. This from then Deputy Game Director Seigar Baroshi.
You'll hopefully see a little bit of inspiration from some of the 80s like sci-fi action movies, especially when you fight against the Automatons, who are, again, not the Cyborgs, and clearly have nothing whatsoever to do with them. Who are, again, not the Cyborgs, and clearly have nothing whatsoever to do with them.
But we know Arrowhead devs play a coy game. Remember, there are no flying bugs and blue beams can't hurt you? And it's the same with the Borgs. Because 3 years before Baroshi's interview, a tweet written in binary code made the connection very clear.
We, the collective from Cyberstan, unanimously assert our independence from Super Earth. We have the right to defend our home from the brainwashed Helldivers. Our children, the Automaton, will not suffer as we have under the oppression of Super Earth. Our children, the Automaton, will not suffer as we have under the oppression of Super Earth.
And there are other obvious in-game signs the Cyborgs and Automatons are connected. Not least is the fact that their insignias are incredibly similar. The Automaton regularly chant about Cyberstan with real humanoid affection. And they share a patriotic tick. They like to mutter, "human scum," in the vicinity of divers. According to the wiki, the Automaton are, quote, entirely mechanical beings and no longer require traitors from Super Earth or corpses of fallen Helldivers to create new troops. But Automatons actually appear to need body parts to expand their race just as the Cyborgs did. Why else are they hoarding bloody torsos and limbs? And there are in-game indications the Automatons still have human bits.
Patrolling an area for signs of enemy activity is one thing, but why chant together like human platoons while doing it? Marching chants do more than just keep a troop marching in time together. It's also a psychological technique that promotes bonding within the unit and encourages working together as a whole. If automatons have no need for this because they're purely mechanical, programmed machines, why are they doing something that provides them absolutely no benefit? It's actually kind of a stupid thing for them to be doing because it gives away their position before you even see them.
And still do a few human-y things.
What's up with this guy? He's like scared of me. Come here, pal. He's my friend.
Did that robot just say F you?
But even if the Cyborgs somehow made or evolved into the Automatons, how did they create such a big faction that was free to attack Super Earth if they were stuck down a mine in Cyberstan? Quite a few OG divers seem to think that the Automatons could have been built by a group of cyborgs who managed to escape before Cyberstan fell back in 2084.
I got what I think was a bugged voice line from the guy next to the galactic map type mission selector. The voice was something along the lines of, the automatons are still being produced somewhere despite their factories being destroyed, meaning their creator is still out there.
My theory is that we killed off the cyborgs, but some of their automated factories stayed operational. So now we have a couple of planets spewing out deadly machines. These robots are making their own society according to how the cyborgs programmed them in the past.
Cyberstan is still locked down, so the truth about the Borgs, and whether they have been freed from their underground Siberian gulag or not, remains to be seen. But one of the better future plotlines going around is from Redditor Alien Finder X, who reckons that in all that time below ground, the cyborgs have become necrytes, undead cybernetic horrors who, quote, seek to extinguish the lights of the living and add the dead to their horde.
The Nekrites overrun the Automatons and took control of Cyberstan in a matter of days or hours. Taking the Automatons' technology and modifying to their own use, the Nekrites took to the stars to add more to their ever-expanding and ever-hungry horde.
And who doesn't love a zombie horde?